Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at a preview from the Flesh Eater Court's Battletome. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Weave a web of chivalrous delusion in Battletome Flesh Eater Courts. The magnificent pageantry of the Flesh Eater Courts has been revealed in all of its glory. Virtuous archregents lead chivalrous knights and doughty serfs across the mortal realms, as sworn to the banner of Usharan, Mortarch of Delusion, and his war of red errantry. Battletome Flesh Eater Courts brings a royal household into the era of the beast with totally revamped rules that fully lean into the glorious delusions spread far and wide by the blood of Usharan. Very nice picture here of some of the new models and some of the old models as well, focused around the Primarch of Delusion. Absolutely amazing. The heroic paladins who led the Flesh Eater Courts to war earn noble deeds points for performing feats of arms on the battlefield, such as conjuring powerful magics, chanting prayers, and engaging the champions and veterans of enemies in mortal combat. Battle trait, Noble Deeds. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court hero successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, give one Noble Deeds point to that hero. Each time a prayer chanted by a friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero is answered, give one Noble point to that hero. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero fights, after all of its attacks have been resolved, give the hero a number of Noble Deed points equal to the number of wounds and or mortal wounds caused by that hero in the phase that were allocated to enemy units. Do not count wounds and or mortal wounds caused by that hero's mount. Each Flesh Eater Court's hero can have a maximum of 6 Noble Deeds points at any one time. It cannot be given any more until the number of Noble Deeds points has reduced to less than 6. Performing enough Noble Deeds and nearby followers will enter into a feverish state of jubilance, abandoning themselves in a feeding frenzy in recognition of the deeds of their liege, and adding 1 attack in melee. Alright, so the battle trait Feeding Frenzy, add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they are wholly within 12 of any heroes who have 6 Noble Deed points. Courtier models become rallying points for serfs and knights who serve them. At the end of the movement phase, they bellow rousing speeches, encouraging their bannermen to return to the fray with renewed vigor. So battle trait Muster Guard. At the end of your movement phase, each friendly courtier can spend 1 of their Noble Deeds points to return 1 slain model to a friendly serfs unit that is within 10 inches of them, or 2 of their Noble Deed points to return 1 slain model to a friendly knights unit that is within 10 inches of them. You can use this ability multiple times each turn as long as the required Noble Deeds points are available. For each Noble Deeds point spent, 1 serf, a crypt ghoul, or crypt guard can be returned to a unit wholly within 10 of the courtier. For every 2 points, a courtier can also return 1 knight to a unit of crypt flayers, crypt horrors, or morhag knights. As long as there are points to be spent, courtiers can keep returning subjects to the battle. So very, very cool. The ability to essentially regenerate based on how much successful spellcasting, chanting, or damage dealing you're doing, or alternatively, holding those saved up points, granting your nearby units +1 attack. So very, very cool. Definitely a nice new and cool dynamic. Because aberrants are the royal descent, they can return whole units of serfs and knights, replenishing the ranks of their army while the enemy begins to falter. It is these same sovereigns who sit on the court of illusion, weaving a veil of madness over their subjects. In the first battle round, a Flesh Eater Courts player picks 1 of the 5 delusions to apply to the battle. When the delusion of a crusading army is cast over the courts, all units add 1 to run rolls and charge rolls. If an opponent perceives a threat to the kingdom, they become defenders of the realm, adding 1 to save rolls for units contesting objectives they control. Alright, so battle trait Courts of Delusion. In the first battle round, after the players have received their starting command points, but before the start of the first turn, you can pick 1 of the following delusions to apply during the battle. Crusading Army. Add 1 to run rolls and charge rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units. Defenders of the Realm. Add 1 to save rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they are contesting objectives that you control. These potent abilities form the backbone of every Flesh Eater Courts army, and are supplemented by unique heroic actions, and a full complement of enhancements including spells, prayers, command traits, and artifacts, all of which you'll find in the hallowed pages of Battletome Flesh Eater Courts. You'll be able to sink your teeth into this tome shortly when the Flesh Eater Courts army set comes to pre-order. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So very, very cool. Obviously, the Flesh Eater Courts are the last of the battle tomes, so they have been patiently waiting not only for the tome, but also for the somewhat unexpected revitalization of the model range itself, I absolutely love the new models coming out. A bunch of new characters, new units, and of course the Mortarch himself. Absolutely one of my favorite models, probably of all time. And while I was kind of pulling for some new ghoul models because they're a bit dated, I think I like better that they kept the ghouls and then added in a similar new unit, because I do already have quite a few of them painted up. So it'll be nice not having to worry about, do I want to keep my old painted models or replace them with the new fancy version. So just adding to the range, I don't have to make that decision because there's just a bunch of new stuff to pick from. And I'm really a fan of the new dynamic. Seems like this is a really cool mechanic for them on the tabletop, similar to some of the other mechanics that in Age of Sigmar, but still unique in its own right. And I think that's awesome. You don't want to overcomplicate the game, but you also want each army's like special rules and dynamics to feel unique in its own right. And from what we've seen so far, it definitely seems like they have captured that. Obviously, there's already a sort of like regeneration aspect to Age of Sigmar, the ability to rally and bring back models. But the addition of the Flesh Eater Court special rules on top of that allows them all of the abilities that other armies would have when rallying. But in addition, also some unique mechanics for them to regenerate models as well, based on how efficient they are on the battlefield or how much killing they're doing. So very, very cool. I love the models. I love the rules so far. Obviously, when you get towards the end of the edition, it's a little bit strange to get like super excited about the Battletome. And also kind of comparing the way Games Workshop normally does stuff with Warhammer 40k and like the 9th edition kind of coming to an end. We saw like a couple battle boxes and also a couple codexes coming out within the last couple months of the edition. We also saw all of the Arcs of Omen books as well, which in the past have always kind of like symbolized the wrap up of the edition. Some cool things inside of them, but always made people a little bit hesitant to spend money on like the books or content that was going to essentially expire soon. And while there is definitely some of that going on here, and we don't know exactly when the new edition is going to launch, it does seem like we still have a few months, so we'll be able to enjoy these, assuming they're coming out relatively soon, probably in the next few weeks, maybe before Christmas, hopefully. Probably not going to end up in our hands before Christmas, but at least maybe go up for sale around that time. But it definitely does feel like there's a little bit of extra kind of overlap with the various Dawnbringer books and Crusade and everything. And it's definitely not great when your Battletome or Codex is the last one to come out for the edition, but somebody kind of has to like fall into that category. I do wish in the future, if they're going to do something like a 3-year period for like the edition itself to last, that they would at least have all of the Battletomes or Codexes out within like the first year and a half or like 2 years. And then doing something like the Dawnbringers is more of like a supplement to everyone's existing rules and kind of updates them after, you know, essentially they've had their book for a year or two, rather than kind of feeling like the Dawnbringer book is going to overlap at the same time with the Flesh Eater Court's Battletome, because it for sure feels like you get a lot less for your money. But that being said, I think so far what we've seen for the Flesh Eater Court's Battletome and rules and everything look awesome. The models are absolutely out of this world and excite me beyond belief. I will definitely be picking up at least one of the new Army Launch Box, and then of course 100% the Mortarch of Delusion, as he is absolutely amazing. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think of the new mechanic for the game? What do you think of the new models and what we've seen so far? How do you feel about the way Games Workshop rolls out the sort of like 3-year period for the edition? And should everything kind of come within a certain amount of time, at least the initial Battletomes or Codexes? That way everybody gets at least a fair amount of time with them. Or is everything just fine how they've been doing it? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and the Mortarch of Delusion is probably one of my favorite models now, if not my absolute favorite. And I'm out of here.